Well, hello everybody, Nismo D21. I apologize about the lack of uploads, but that's going to change starting right now. There really doesn't look too much different from the last time I showed you, other than I got the interior pretty much in. I still have to, same as last time, I still have to get the speedo cable. My brain has been on a different planet this week, so I forgot the speedo cable. I remembered a bunch of other stuff, but speedo cable was not one of those things. The wire harness is pretty much run, with the exception of a few pieces. I have to still attach the ground here, and I have to make these wires actually go and do something, because they're actually for like the lights on the auto trans shifter, and also these are connections for the seat belts, so it knows to turn the light off on the dashboard. I haven't gotten that far yet. I've got seat belts right here. There's your connector plug for those. Or for the driver's seat. I guess back in 1992 they didn't care if your passenger was buckled up or not, just the driver. What else? Yeah, seats are in. The harness is actually, I haven't finished all of it. I kind of cheated. This is the back section of the harness here, and as you can see, I've routed the harness around, and you know, I tried to do a nice pretty job of this thing, so that there's computers mounted underneath the seat here. The wire harness is screwed down so it doesn't move around, and I just been working my way out back. This is the harness for the driver's side that goes, originally on the Pathfinder, this harness went down all the way down the side of the body to the back tailgate. So there's, so this harness never went outside of the truck, for one. Two, it's got all the connections for the rear wiper, other stuff that this truck is just not going to need. So I didn't want to turn into an absolute nightmare by trying to open up this harness and just cut out every wire that I don't need. So far, I've been able to route it in a way that it actually kind of looks factory. Like if you look underneath this seat here, I'll show it to you here if I can. Let me move some stuff around here. Normally, for anybody who's just joining in here, normally I would do a nice fancy edited video, and you guys would see highlights of what I got done, mixed with some live stuff, or at least some uncut stuff. But I don't have the facilities anymore, so we've gone full live here. Okay. Alright, so I still gotta get the back seat bolts here lined up and stuff, because some things are kind of different in here and I don't know why yet. But the ECM is wired. Jeez, what a mess. So the harness comes back, and this part of the harness here would actually go down the back of the truck all the way back to the tailgate on the passenger side. We're not doing that. I didn't want to cut the harness up, so you don't have to worry. None of this is tight. It's all bolted down, but none of it is like, you know, where the harness can't be flexed in some kind of way or form. You know, it's like it's not like totally stressed out. I made sure that the harness was kind of flimsy there, so wires weren't like being pulled, you know, taut and pulled out of connectors and whatnot. So I kind of let the harness do its thing, and apologize, there's too much stuff in here. I kind of let the harness lay it out the way it wanted to, and then I just kind of fastened it down so it wouldn't be all over the place. So with the seats back, you'll never know that I didn't open up the harness. So this truck is still going to think that it's a Pathfinder all the way back to the rear hatch. Although I am going to, from this connector here, this is a giant four connector like junction block that's mounted about 3/4 of the way down the driver's side of the truck. It contains a lot of garbage. there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm not going to be using. So I'm going to go through this side of it, because the only ones that I need are this connector here. This is for the taillight on the driver's side. And then there's this connector here, which this goes down to the bumper and takes care of things like the trailer lights and the license plate lights. So this connector and this connector, nope, not this connector. These two connectors right here are what I need to keep. The rest of this I can just cut out, weed out. So that's the only thing I'm going to do is that. And then the harness here actually has a grommet that can go through the floor. So I'm going to find, get a hole drilled for it so it can go through the hole. The only thing I got to run for the passenger side is I got to stretch the wires for the tail light on that side, and then I'm done. Then I'm done with it. I'm just going to leave it nicely tucked away, bolted down, and so the wire harness doesn't get damaged by being cut by a seat or something. So anything that's in here is going to be secured using either the OEM stuff or the like P-clamps, insulated P-clamps, and then that way I can do a nice secure install on that, and the truck will be a lot happier. Okay, so that takes care of that part of it. You'll notice we have a face. This is the face. I don't know if I like the green. I like the green as kind of a tribute to the green truck. And I have a green cowl that matches as well that I could put on it that would be fine. So I might go that route, or I may paint this hood white, or I have that other white hood with the mail slots, and I could use that one as well. But I kind of like that this one has the, this is like the 93 and newer hood with the bump, the riser bump, instead of the flat with the two stripes and the 3 mail slots on the front. All my other trucks all have that hood. I figured this one would be a little different. What I could do is, fill in these holes, or just say screw it, just leave them there. I don't know. This is obviously we got an OEM grill, and I took a little time to do the core support because I wanted to see how it would look. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I was trying to feel inspired. So the core support right now is only bolted to the fender. It's being held in position by the fender. I got an upper bolt and a lower bolt. As you can see, there's a little bit of a need for the body mounts for the front because it's not, it's not secured completely yet. So that's where this comes in. I was going to cut the mounts. I was going to cut these mounts right here out and bolt them to the new core support, because the core support itself does not come with those mounts. Those are part of the inner fenders. And since we don't have the inner fenders in here yet, the core support is just, leaning up against the frame itself. If I get the mounts tacked in or bolted in, then the core support will be secure enough that I could just drop a radiator in it, because you got the radiator lower mounts here and here, and obviously the upper mounts, so the radiator will sit properly. I'm not going that far yet because we still have to get a motor in here, and that's coming at some point in the future. So right now, this is just so I feel like I actually am building something, and I think that that looks pretty good. I think, I'm so torn between doing green all the way up top, green cowl, I don't know, green roof, maybe not, but just at least a green cowl, or painting the hood white and saying, screw it, and leaving the one silver fender. I don't know. It'll all figure itself out later, I guess. I'm getting ahead of myself by saying, worried about the looks rather than anything else, but I'm doing what I can till the point where that particular category costs me money, and then once it costs me money, then I put it on the list of things that I need to do. But let me show you this. So we've gone from just a bare frame to a 2-wheel drive heavy-duty regular cab mounted to a WD-21 Pathfinder chassis. And this is what it's like if I was to get in it. You can see this is pretty cool. You just hop right up here. The seats are 90% bolted in. The passenger seat is completely bolted in, so that's not a big deal. If I can get it to latch, there we go. Yeah, once I get the speedo cable in, then I can proceed to put the gauges in, and then this will all be buttoned up. And then I gotta get a radio at some point. I got the radio wire harness here. I do have the vents for the center here. I just need to come up with the cover, because this truck didn't come with a cover, and stupid me, I in my process of getting ready to move out, I threw out so much stuff, and the center section cover that I had was one of the pieces that accidentally got chucked. And pretty funny though, because I'm using the Pathfinder wire harness as I took it out, I didn't cut anything, I didn't unplug anything. I just wanted to put it, I knew it ran, even though it ran poorly because of the head gasket, but I knew it ran. So what I did is when I took that Pathfinder apart, I kept everything plugged in, as much stuff as I could plugged in, and so the harness was complete. So I know it runs as an automatic, and since this is getting swapped to a 5-speed, I'm going to do the same thing, or try to do the same thing that I did with my red truck, which was trick it into thinking that it's in park all day. That way I don't need a clutch switch. If I need, most of the manual transmission computers are looking for a clutch switch, and I guess you could trick it out and make it think that it's plugged in all the time, but you'd have to get the pins into the wire harness that plugs into the computer, and I don't feel like dicking around with opening up that harness and adding and subtracting pins. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trick it into thinking that it's an automatic still, that it's in park. I know it works on the 4 cylinders because I did exactly that. The red truck is still running an automatic ECM, and all I did was bypass the inhibitor relay, so it thinks it's in park all day long. So you got to be careful with that. It will fire up and run in first gear if you're not, prepared. So always either have it in neutral or keep your foot on the clutch. So as a joke, it's kind of funny to me is that since this is going to be a 5-speed, there's going to be a 5-speed in here at some point. I kept all the original automatic transmission switches. I kept all the Pathfinder switches too. I've got the rear defogger button, which the rear defogger harness is still there, it's still intact. Cruise control is still there, even though I'm not using cruise control on this thing. I still have the controls here. They're there, they're just not going to work. But what I did add was I added the intermittent wipers that the Pathfinder came with, and that was kind of a pain in the butt. The motor is the same motor as the regular non-intermittent wipers, but it has an extra computer mounted to it. I guess I could have transferred the computer over and added the wiring and everything, but all I ended up doing was just taking the Pathfinder motor and putting it on this cab. And it required changing the arm because the linkage on this 86 truck has a different size ball than the Pathfinder does for hooking up the main link to the motor. So if you guys are running into that, I ended up changing the arm on the motor over from the 86.5 cab to the Pathfinder motor, and it clicked right on, it popped right in. So I've got the wipers all hooked up now with all the intermittent wiring and the intermittent switch here with the adjustable timing. So that's kind of a cool thing to have here. I'm keeping the wire harness intact to the point where I have the automatic power and economy switch still here. It's plugged in, so if I flip it, it'll light up. And I have the intermittent and rear wiper control switch as well, because all that wiring's still intact. So I figured I'd just put it all back in and hide the wiring that I'm not using. So I think that's kind of funny to have it, be a 5-speed and still have all your switches and stuff for an automatic in here. On the other side, we've got the rear defroster light, which is going to still probably work. I got the cruise light, which will probably light up, but I didn't keep the vacuum motor, so there's going to be no cruise control on this thing, and then obviously 4-wheel drive engaged switch. Yeah, so busy, and happy that now I can just sit in this thing and feel what it's like. So cool. And I hope you guys are enjoying this build. It's moving right along. We're happening here. So if you guys have any comments, just leave them down below. I always try and respond. I always read the comments, but I try to respond to everybody. And like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, just go back. There's a whole playlist based on this truck from the day I bought it to right now. So you can follow this build, and hopefully you like it, and you know, I inspire others. This is not an original idea. I said that in the previous videos. There's other trucks that are out there that have gone this route of being a Pathfinder but having a regular truck's cab on it. So I just found it a neat idea, and I had the opportunity to do it, and it's a unique piece, especially around here. And you know, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be quite capable, and I'll have a good time in it. So yeah, I want to thank everybody. Monday the 14th, for those of you that follow the channel and what's been happening with the changing, getting the new shop, Monday the 14th at 2 p.m. I am closing on the house. So I got to drive up to the city, sign paperwork for a while, and then they're going to hand me the keys, and then I have the house with the 2-story barn and the workshop, and we'll just chronicle everything that happens in there as I build that shop up and bring the trucks over and show you guys some more how-to videos and everything like that. So bear with me, but to keep my sanity, this is what I've been working on. And you know, I want to give a shout out to infamousnissan.com once again. That's infamousnissan.com is really the go-to site for the Nissan hardbody stuff, both 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive, lowered and lifted. Great community over there. And I want to give a shout out to D21 Empire on Instagram. He posts a lot well, it's actually a bunch of guys running it, and they post a lot of cool trucks, and they've been really supportive of all the projects that I've been doing. So yeah, Instagram, D21 Empire, and show them some support, because they're doing some good stuff with these trucks. Yeah, you can always contact me, leave me a message, and you know, I'll get back to you. Until the next time, you guys take it easy now, and thanks again for following my Nissan Pathfinder pickup build. I'll give you guys a quick walk around, and then I'll shut my yap.